morning, everyone. You're all very welcome to this webinar, which is the final in a series of 5 sessions that have been brought to you by Google Digital Garage in partnership with the Fingal Local Enterprise Office. My name is Oisín Geoghegan, and as the Head of Enterprise here in Fingal, I was delighted to work with Google on this series, and indeed with over 1,300 registered attendees here, there's clearly an appetite among SMEs for the information and guidance provided throughout this series. I'm also delighted to confirm that we are now going to be rolling this initiative out throughout the country. And in this way, we are helping small businesses across Ireland to keep up to speed with how they can exploit digital technologies in their business. So this final webinar today is called Getting Started with Google Analytics. And this 1-hour session will help you to apply data-driven thinking to your business. It'll explore the questions your customer data can help you to answer, and you'll discover tools and reports to access these insights, and you'll learn how to set up Google Analytics. Our speaker this morning is Michael Knowles. Now, Michael delivered the last 2 webinars in this series as well. He's a digital skills trainer who delivers training sessions for the Google Digital Garage. And he's a very experienced digital marketing specialist with a background in search engine optimization, pay-per-click analytics and customer journey planning. So he's worked with the digital marketing sector for nearly 10 years. So I really hope you enjoy this session. Don't forget to stay in touch with your local enterprise office because there are many supports available to small businesses throughout the country. If you're based in Fingal, please make sure that you register for our e-zine if you haven't already done that. It's on our website, so you'll be then the first to hear about new initiatives, new grants and new supports for your business. So now I'm going to hand over to Michael for this week's webinar. Thank you for coming.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much, Oisín. Great to be back with you guys. Good morning, everybody. Welcome along to the final Google Digital Garage session of this kind of block. Guys, my name's Michael Knowles. I'm a trainer here for Google's free skills training program, the Google Digital Garage. So first of all, guys, a little bit about me. I'm an experienced digital marketing specialist, and my specialist areas of knowledge are around SEO, PPC, and analytics. And I've been in this sector for over 10 years now, and I really enjoy what I do. And over the next hour, I look forward to sharing with you my favorite deck to actually deliver. Guys, I'd also like to introduce our moderator, and that's Annie. Annie, we've worked together quite a few times. I love working with her. She's one of the funniest people and nicest people to actually work with. She's a Google Digital Garage coach, just like myself. She'll be interacting with you in the chat, answering some of the smaller questions that you might have, but also keeping me on track time-wise and passing through some of those larger kind of more challenging questions that we can answer and discuss together. Guys, you can identify Annie in the chat as there's a little blue spanner just next to her name. So Annie, if you could just make yourself known in the chat, that would be great. Guys, just some quick housekeeping questions just to make sure that you get the best possible experience today. Firstly, if you're having any trouble at all viewing this webinar, just hit refresh on your browser and that should sort some of the issues out for you. If you would like to join the instant chat today, all you need to do is quickly create a YouTube account on the side, just working out which way around my camera is. I think it's that way. Yeah, just hit to create a YouTube account. It takes about 10 or 15 seconds to do, and that'll enable you to engage with fellow viewers, ask questions, and have a bit of fun in the chat there. We will be pausing throughout the session, guys, to answer some of the more complex questions. So please do feel free to fire away with your questions throughout the content. Don't just wait until the Q&A breaks, because we'll only be able to read out any ones that have kind of been passed through. So any questions that you've got, this is your opportunity to have 2 Google Digital Garage coaches kind of on your team, answering some of the questions. And in my sessions, guys, I've got to be honest, is I always say that I'll give everything. And what I would kind of say is, don't feel as though there's any stupid questions. There's no stupid kind of things to say. Is I guarantee that if you're thinking something or unsure, there's going to be at least 2, 3, 4, 5 other people viewing today that are probably kind of having the same issues or have the same kind of question. Also, feel free to check out the Google Small Business website, guys, which is a one-stop shop for the products, tools, and training you need to help move your business forward. We've built a simple step-by-step online success guide to help you show up on Google, create and improve your website, reach more customers, and build loyalty, but also work from anywhere. Annie will now share that link in the chat, So make sure that you grab that link, share it away, and take a look at it after today's session. Lastly, guys, if you've got any feedback about today's session, please complete the feedback form linked in the description box below. Once you complete the feedback form, a link's going to appear for you to be able to download a PDF of today's content. And also, guys, you're going to be able to rewatch today's session via the Leo Fingal YouTube channel as well. All right, so let's move forward and get stuck into the session. I'm just going to move my screen around here, guys, because it looks like the Starship Enterprise in here today. Just bear with me one moment. There we go. Okay, guys. So we're going to break this session into 3 parts. Okay. First part is defining your business goals. Second part is discovering insights through active reporting. And the final one is take action on real business questions. One of the things I would encourage you to do is you're going to need one of these and one of these. Reason being is this is my favorite deck out of anything that we present, okay, because this is what I do day in, day out for my clients. And I'm going to share with you all of the things that Google want to share, but I'm also going to give you that little bit extra of some of the tips, some of the tools that I use day to day as well, to help you kind of get the most out of analytics, but also some of the ways that you can, let's say, automate your processes and make you look damn good to your boss and to your management teams. All right. So set up a Google Analytics account and define your business goals. This is where, you basically kind of start. All right. What I want to know is I want you to start popping in the chat. Let me know who uses analytics. Okay. Start popping in the chat, and I'll tell you what to do, guys, as well, is give me the name of the business that you work for as well. And I'll give you a shout out from the chat as well. All right. So an introduction on how we're going to set up a Google Analytics account. Let's go. Let's start with the basics then. So what actually is Google Analytics? So Google Analytics is by far the most commonly used analytics tool anywhere. All right. Google offers an analytics tool. Google offers analytics in a tool which is called Google Analytics, which is available at no charge. Now, it's a free, powerful web tool, okay, that actually shows you how visitors found your site, but most importantly, what they did when they got there. All right. And it measures how well both your online and offline marketing efforts are kind of working for you. One of the things to understand here, guys, okay, is if there's one thing that you take away from today's session, is that I want you to go away and after the session and make sure that you've got this set up. The reason being is when you set up analytics, is it only starts reporting and recording data, okay, from the day you install it. Okay, it can't take any data, okay, so you might have had a website from, you might have a 5-year-old website and you install analytics, but you won't actually get any access to that data. All right. Okay. So let's get moving. Let's see who's using it. So we've got Rob Mullen, using Google Analytics already. And he is Rob from Category First Services. Great to have you with us. We've got Rural Wi-Fi saying hello all. Yes, we use it at Rural Wi-Fi. Great to kind of see that you guys are on there. Regardless of whether you've used it before or not, guys, this session's for everyone, from helping you to kind of get set up, but also to kind of get you through and demystify what some people can see as challenging. There's one slide on here, okay, that when I get to it, I want you to write it down, okay? You're going to get the PDF anyway, but if there's one slide that you're going to remember and you're going to take in and that you're going to use, I'll flag it up, because analytics is actually very, very straightforward and simple. That might sound easy coming from a nerd, but I promise you that by the end of this, you're going to feel comfortable and confident to be able to look through it and find the information that you would love to kind of know about your business. Let's see what else is talking. So we've got Life Tech, Health and Living. I use the basic free version of Monster Insights that I back end of my website. I don't log in analytics dashboards often, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to encourage you to do that so that you can get some more insights. All right. Okay. Google Analytics helps you answer, okay, some of the more important business questions. All right. One of the reasonable questions is that we need to track is who actually are my visitors? Yeah, who are they? Are they male, female? What age range do they fall into? Where are they? Yeah, what kind of demographic profile do they fall into? You know? The second one is, how did they actually find me? Yeah, did they come into you from Facebook? Did they come in from a Google ad? Did they come in from a blog? Yeah, how did they actually find? Did they come in from a local referral site? Did they come in from some local citations? Where did they kind of come from? The other step is, what are they actually doing on my site? So it's all well and good getting traffic there, but what often happens is people come to the site and they don't actually understand what web pages are popular. They don't understand if people are kind of landing on the site and jumping straight off again, which is called bounce. Or is there certain pages that when people do land on, they tend to actually turn into a business opportunity and a business conversation? The final one is, what are they actually worth to me? So if people land on certain pages or convert or complete a goal, you know, say a sale or a sign up or whatever it might be, how much is the average order value of that? How much is that potential lead worth to you? If you could start to measure that, you can start to make some really good informed business decisions around conversion rates, around the business opportunity that you've had, if you improved, say, your SEO or did more PPC or improved your social media marketing. Yeah. All right. Quick shout out to the other people who have commented here. So we've got Clemens Prossin. I also use Google Analytics for 2 years. Very easy to use, and you've been able to see the results. Fantastic. Slim R Us. Yes, I use it. Rather, I say it's on my website. Okay, so you've got it attached. You don't use it as much as what you feel as though you could. Perfect. That's what we're here for. Claire, is it Whittle? I have analytics set up, but not used it much. Okay, Claire, stick with it. Okay, and by the end of the session, I'm determined to turn you into an analytics nerd like me. Okay, let's move on. So the basic steps. How do we actually set up a Google Analytics account to begin with? First things first. Go to analytics.google.com, or you could just go to Google and type in Google Analytics. I guarantee it's going to be right at the top of the page. Now, what I want you to do is it'll say either start for free or it'll say sign in. If it's a brand new account, I just want you to go to start for free. And what it's going to do is it's going to ask you to choose a name for your account. Please name your account the name of your business. Okay, I've worked with multiple clients who say, yes, we've got analytics, but I can't seem to find the logins. And when they try and find it in, their email and things like that, they could have just typed in kind of like analytics in the name of their business and it'll bring it straight up. But they've just like named it something random. Just make it very easy for yourself in terms of reporting and things. Just name it the name of your business. The next step, guys, is choosing an industry category. Now, this is vital. The reason being is some of the awesome reports that you get in comparison part of analytics enables you to kind of see where you're at and how your site, how parts of your site and speed and things like that rank in terms of against your kind of competitors within your industry. All right. Now, what analytics is doing is it's kind of saying, well, we'll share with you all of this useful data in terms of you're going to give us a little bit of data that we'll be able to take from your site. Now, it's not going to say that, Rob Mullen from Category First Services, their website does this, but it's going to say that people in, similar locations, similar business sizes, their websites commonly perform like this. Does that make sense? So it kind of gives you a comparison as to where you actually are within your industry and things. All right. So it's important that you choose an industry category as close as you can. If you look through the industry categories and you're not 100% sure, okay, that it matches, but it's the closest option that's there, just go with that. That's fine. It's just kind of getting something as close as you possibly can within there. So say for mine a while ago, there wasn't one that matched with the exact services we provided at the time. So we went with business and professional services because that matched quite well. All right. All right. So once you're in through that part, what you need to do is you're going to go to, I'll tell you what I'll do. Is I'm going to switch tabs because we've discovered something pretty cool today. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. Just going to try and do this. Won't be a moment, guys. Just take it off full screen. Here we go. There we go. I hope you guys can see this okay. Is what you're going to do is you're going to look for a thing called your tracking code. Now, this is just a random kind of analytics account. Don't worry, it's not going to kind of risk anyone's data. Okay, we're going to touch on this later. But what I want to show you is actually where you get the code to link it to your website. What we get quite often is people have set up their website, that have set up an analytics account, and when they go to the dashboards and analytics, they're wondering why there's no data flowing through it. And all of these charts and all of these graphs appear blank. Okay, the reason being is you've set this up, but you haven't meshed them together. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Okay, so once you kind of into the account, down at the bottom left, just shrink these down. Down at the bottom left, you've got what you call an admin cog. I want you to click on here. Then what I want you to do is go to the property section, which is in the middle here. Okay, and all you're going to do is you're going to go to tracking info and tracking code. And this number here is what you call a UA code. Okay, this is where you get it from. You can just copy this, okay, or you can use the site tag, which we'll touch on in a second. All right, so just to recap those steps, you go to admin cog, cross to property, tracking info, and tracking code. And there you have it. All right, let's just get this back to full screen again. Yeah, so to track your site's performance, this is what you need to do. You're going to take that code and you're going to mesh it together in your website. Okay, so how do you do that part? So this is commonly what you'll see on the back end of, say, your Wix website, your GoDaddy site, your Google site, your WordPress site, things like that. They'll tend to be either a plugin, okay, or a direct part actually in like the settings, okay, and analytics settings within the site. And what it'll ask you for is your analytics code, which you can just paste into here. Or if it's, say, a custom built site, you could have copied that bit of code that I said was underneath the G tag, okay, and you'll paste it into this box here. That will enable you then, okay, once you hit save, to start actually tracking their info. All right. If you've got like a really custom built site that you're not too sure on, and you've probably then got a web developer or something like that can help out. If you copy the codes, okay, from where I showed you within the tracking code section and analytics, maybe just pop that over in an email to your web developer, and they'll know exactly what to do with that. All right. Once they've embedded it and hit save, from that point forward, you're going to be able to start tracking that data across the site. Any questions so far, guys? Just let me know. Pop it in the chat, and me and Annie will do our very best to kind of go through them. All right. So the next part that I want you to kind of consider, guys, is I want you to kind of tell me in the chat, with the analytics data that you can see, okay, if I could give you access and show you how to find things, what would you love to be able to see? Because what is it that you're trying to achieve? What is it that you would love to be able to find? Is it where do we tend to sell most? Where does the user journey start online? You know, one of the terms I'd like you to write down is a thing called attribution modeling. Now, this is something that as an agency, with my company, is we can charge quite a bit of money for, because we can look through this with people, and it's something that not a lot of marketers talk enough about. Is if I could show you, if someone initially found you on Facebook, spoke to their partner, then came back via a blog, you can actually see that information within Google Analytics. Pretty cool stuff. Pop it in the chat. Let me and Annie know, what is it that you would love to be able to achieve? What is it that you'd love to be able to find out within analytics? Okay. What are your objectives? What actions on your website do you care about the most? Yeah. So as I said, start popping some of these into the chat. Annie's going to let me know as to what you guys are saying. I would love to know what actions that people carry out on your site do you want to know about? Do you want to know about things like sales? Do you want to know which pages they hit the most? Do you want to know about signups to your newsletter? Do you want to know, how old people are? Do you want to know how often people come back to your site? What kind of things would you love to be able to kind of find out? I'll move on until some of those kind of start to filter through, and we can revisit them at any time, okay? So what we need to look at, okay, is taking a standard objective, okay, and turn it into an action, okay? So we can go through the steps, go through the process in a 4-point plan to turn some of your basic objectives into actions that we can actively carry out, all right? So if the objective might be, we want to actually start driving 25% more bookings. Great, what could we do? Who is my online customer? All right, that would be the question then, because we can't start to drive more bookings and target the people who actively buy if we don't actually know who the people are. So if we wanted to say who actually is my online customer, then we could look into Google Analytics and look at the audience report. Yeah, let me show you exactly how to do it. I love the idea now that we can switch between the two, by the way, it makes it a lot easier to be able to kind of show you the nitty-gritty of what we do. So the question was analytics report, actually finding out who my online customer is. Okay, so in analytics, okay, to be able to find this kind of information out, we're going to go into audience, okay, and then look at the options that you've got. And don't be overwhelmed by this. It depends on how far down the rabbit hole that you want to go. If you want to keep it nice and simple, easy. Just use a basic dashboard, just hit overview. And this is going to present you with some really useful information, all right? And you can select a time period up here. So we'll just say, let's say the last 30 days. So audience, okay? So we've had 61,389 users over the last 30 days. People on average have spent over nearly 3 minutes. Common languages, all right? Then what you could do is we can look at the demographic info. So we can look at the common languages that people have used. We can look at the countries that they're from, the cities that they're from. But this is the nice stuff, guys. We can start to look at, okay, were they coming from, what kind of system were they coming from? Yeah. Were they coming from, Apple products? Were they coming from Windows? Were they on a PC? Were they on a tablet, a mobile phone? Think of how that could be potentially be very useful for your business. After all, some purchasing decisions don't tend to be made on a mobile. Some purchasing decisions are definitely made on mobile. All right, is if you can start to understand the kind of split between how many people visit your site from mobile, from PC, from tablet, and things like that, is think about if you're doing a Facebook campaign, a LinkedIn campaign, a Google ad campaign, you can actually target devices. So for some of our clients, I'm not saying this is for all, because as I always say for everything, you need to look at the data for your business, is if you can start to see, actually, we've got about a 90 or 80% split, okay? 80% of people visiting us are coming from mobile and booking from mobile. We have 1% coming on via tablet and the rest from PC. The chances are that you may think, okay, we might take tablet away because it's not generating anything for us. And we might put all of our money or the majority of our kind of spending and time and efforts into targeting people on mobile devices. So we want to know who the user actually is though. So what about if we start looking on the left-hand side here, looking at demographics, we can look at overview again. Yeah, how cool is this? That we can start to kind of understand, okay, the age ranges that tend to actually visit us. And we can then look at the gender split as well between male and female. It's really insightful to be able to get this kind of information rather than thinking that you know who your customers are, okay, because the people that you might see in your shop, bar, cafe, restaurant, whatever it might be, they're just the people who are coming in off the street. People that act and have very different kind of behaviors when they're online. The people who come in the shop to buy it might not be the decision maker. They might not be the people who are getting the information that you actually need to market to. This kind of report is going to show us, okay, the age ranges that actively engage with us, okay, and the gender split. Again, if we take that information, we might be able to actually utilize that in our Google ads, in our Facebook ads, in our Instagram ads, in our LinkedIn ads, okay, the kind of websites that we put our content on. All right. So let me just go full screen again there. So just going back to the original question, is if we wanted to drive 25% more bookings from this, think about what we've just been able to see. We've actually been able to find out quite quickly who our actual online customer is, because we went to the Google Analytics audience reports and started to drill down, and we could start to take some notes. Is how old are they? Where are they? What kind of devices are they on? Are they male? Are they female? Straight away, we've probably got 4 or 5 kind of bits of filtering that we can then use to target, to carry out an action, to target more people like that. It genuinely is that kind of straightforward to get started, okay? And if you haven't done any of this before and you've been putting, money into kind of ad spend and things like that across any channel, some of this information is going to start to kind of take your audience from this big to this big. And if you were spending the same amount of money trying to target those people, imagine the return on that marketing investment. I hope that was useful, guys. Okay, let me just go back and just see what people are saying. Okay, so we had Rob Mullen, love to understand the behavior flow charts a little bit more. Great, okay. Claire Prosson, about their profile, demographics and interests. Hope we touched on some of that there, but I'll touch on interests again later, no problem. Slim or Us, I want to know what page it is where they actually leave the site. Okay, no problem at all. Guys, we're going to come to some of these points in the Q&A section that we've got coming up, guys. Great questions. So, turn your business goals into website goals. So what you have, okay, is you have a conversion setting, okay, in the bottom left corner of Google Analytics. Now, the reason that you use this, okay, is you want to be able to track people who've completed a purchase. You want to be able to track people who've completed a newsletter sign up. You want to be able to track people who have filled in a form to be contacted, or maybe it's even clicked a telephone number. Yeah, so that's where you would look in the bottom left, okay, as you can see on the screen here of analytics. You go to conversions and goals, okay, and overview, okay, and take it from there. Okay, there's some steps there where some of them are relatively easy to set up. Some of them, if it was, say, telephone number, it might take you a little bit longer. Okay, but what we do have is on the Google Digital Garage website, okay, is we've got specific content available to you to help take you through those individual steps. All right. Now, the reason that they're useful is if you can start to see actually, rather than it just being that you think your team have kind of worked extra hard this month and generated more from online, what if you could say actually it was one particular channel, okay, that had actually started to really help pick the business up. So you might have tried a different way of utilizing Facebook or Google Ads or a blog, okay? And if you could start to measure the difference and the direct impact that had, not just in terms of people visiting the website, but people actually visiting the website and then converting, imagine how powerful that could be moving forward and being able to really assess the business. Okay. So pausing for a couple of questions. All right, let me just see what we've got here. Love to understand behavior flow charts a little bit more. Okay, that's fantastic. Let me just take a look at some of these that we can go into for you. About the profile, so demographic and interest. All right, so I've got Clemens Prosson. Let me just have a quick look here. So demographics and interests. Okay, so what we've got, okay, is if we go into audience, okay, and into audiences, and then if it's literally as simple as this, is you can go into the demographic profiling, Clemens, okay, and you can look at age and gender, okay, an overview, but then also you can go into interests, okay, and then here you've got affinity categories, in-market segments, and other categories. So you can really start to see, let me just, hopefully this pulls through, is you can kind of start to see the vast majority of people who visited your website, okay, they all, these are the kind of splits. They seem to be interested in these other areas as well. Okay, and you'll start to kind of pick up over time some definite kind of alignment as to the kind of websites people also visit. And if you were doing anything kind of like Google display, Google remarketing display and things there, you may choose to target some of these other kind of websites to display kind of ads on. I hope that helps. Behavioral flow. So let me just take a quick look here. So let me take a look here. I love that we've got some of these questions coming through, by the way. So Rob, what you're going to be able to see here, okay, is I don't have time to go through this fully because this is quite a kind of a high knowledge kind of base area to look at. But what behavioral flow is actually going to be able to show us, okay, is it's going to show us the amount of people that once they come in via a certain channel, okay, via a certain way, okay, once they get to a starting page, okay, what's the kind of how many people stay on the site, how many people drop off the site, and how many people, if they go from, say this one was our home page and they go to one of our service pages, going between the two, what is the drop-off rate like? Okay, and you can actively start to be able to see this, because what that might flag for you, Rob, is any pages that lose the user's kind of headspace. They're not interested anymore. There might be issues with those pages and things like that. And you might actually be able to identify certain paths that if you can push people towards, there tends to be a bit more success there. Okay, all right. So let me just go back to the home page and let me see what else we've got. Let me just see what I've got. Okay, so Slim or Us, I want to know what page it is where they actually leave the site. That's fine. So just look for exit pages, okay? And you can look at, let me just have a quick look, is if we go to behavior and we go to site content, and I'll tell you what's a good one is, yeah, exit pages just here. This one's for Slim or Us. Okay, now what you can do is you can look at it this way, but what I would also do, okay, is I would also look at your landing pages, okay, and I would look for the landing pages that have the highest bounce rate. Okay, bounce rate means that someone's visited the site and left within between, I think it's something like 3 or 3.5 seconds, and that means that either, I'll be straight, is either the page is terrible, the page didn't load, the page was broken, or it wasn't what the user expected. If you're seeing a very, very high bounce rate on a certain page, that's your opportunity to kind of think, okay, we need to fix some of these pages to bring that bounce rate down. The way to kind of think about it is look at the ones that have a very low bounce rate, okay, and look at maybe the layout, the language, the imagery, the call to action, the messaging, the load time of those pages, and see if you can replicate that on the poorer performing pages. What else have we got here then? So Sky Business Center's marketing, understand bounce rates. So I think I nailed that one. 2 birds with 1 stone there. Is it Sean? Sean is asking source of visitor landing page, where they go on site, setting goals and conversions. So where they go on the site, I think we touched on the landing pages. This is going to show you where the vast majority of your clients go to, your visitors go to, and you can also look at all goals. So just on this page here, you're gonna, once you've set your goals actually up, you can use this little tab, press all goals, and you'll be able to measure the effectiveness of each page with the number of conversions it generates or the number of goal completions it generates for you. Let's have a look. Siobhan, love to know the demographic to see if it's in the same as my target customer. So fantastic. I think we touched on that before, just audience, demographic, and then break it down. Let me have a quick look. Clements want to know what pages they look at and where they bounce in the funnel. So we've showed that already. That's great. Which pages are most popular and how did they get there? Great question. So we've looked at which pages are most popular. Okay. And what we want to do now is we want to kind of see how did they get there. So this one's for, is it a Cara concept? How did they get there? What I want to show you is you go into the acquisition tab, all traffic, and then we're going to look at channels. And this is actually going to show you, and what's great about analytics, guys, anything in blue, you can click on and you can drill down, okay? So what this is going to show us from channels is over the time period that we want to measure. Remember, we can change that. Is you can look at whether people came to you directly. That's from people saving your URL and things like that away. Maybe it's coming at another time. Paid search, so that's like Google Ads, display, affiliates, other. And what you'll see as well is you're going to see things like social media on there as well. And if you click onto that, you can drill down. So if it comes up and says social, you can click down and it'll actually show you the different kind of social media platforms as well. Okay, guys, that's all the questions we're going to answer just in this section. All right, I'm just conscious of time, making sure that we can kind of get through. Just move on. So I will kind of come back to some of the more questions in the next Q&A break as well. All right, thanks so much for sending those through so far, guys. So how do we actually start discovering the different kind of aspects? So here's a basic Google Analytics dashboard. Okay, this is as simple as it gets. All right. It looks initially, when people kind of start getting in analytics, that there's loads of information coming at you. But if you understand that on the left-hand side, there's just 4 basic tabs that you need to be able to get your head around, okay, then this starts to become a lot easier. Okay. This is the tab. This is the single best screen that we have in any Google Digital Garage deck, in my opinion. And it's worth, writing this down, doing what you want with it, guys, sharing it with your colleagues, because this is where it takes all the fear away from analytics. All right. 2 things. There's four sections. And the other one, you're not going to break your website. Play around with analytics. The reason being is it's only reporting on what's already happened. So you making a change or drilling down on something is not going to affect anyone's ability to look at something on your website. Okay. So let's go back to what we were talking about. 4 different things. Audience on the left-hand side is who are they? Acquisition, how did they actually find me? Where did they come from online? Behavior, what are they doing when they get there? And conversions, what are they worth to me? Have they bought something? Have they signed up? Have they rang the team? Have they emailed us? All of those kind of goals, they're the things that we need to be able to track to, because it's all well and good creating all of these fancy campaigns, spending all of this money, writing loads of blogs, but ultimately as a business, it needs to turn into some money and it needs to turn into opportunity for us, doesn't it? So what kind of things can you actually report on? So once we've kind of looked at those 4 tabs, across the middle of the screen, all right, you have metrics and dimensions. Again, don't get freaked out about this, okay? A metric is simply, a metric is just a measurement, all right? So metrics includes stats that are things such as the number of visitors that you've had, the number of page views that you've had, the number of sessions to your site, and the time spent on site, those kind of things. The dimensions, okay, talk about the different attributes that you might kind of want to match up with certain measurement tabs. So things such as the visitors, the city that people are coming from, or the region. After all, if you see that you've actually getting a lot of traffic from China, but you actually can't service that market, okay, how do we kind of get rid of that traffic to focus purely more on certain cities? Yeah, certain regions that we can deliver to, that we can take payment from, okay? Say you were getting a lot of traffic from America, but you can't actually accept American Express. If you could deliver your goods and services there, maybe you need to look at your payment systems. Maybe you might unearth some opportunities there. Source of the referral. So where did people actually come from? Did they come from, did they come from the Leo Fingal hub? Did they come find you on there? Did they click through? Did they come from a local council hub? Did they come from a referral website? Did they come from Facebook? Where did they come from? Browser type and operating system. So did they come in from, Microsoft Edge? Did they come in from Google Chrome? Those kind of things are important. The reason being is if you start to see certain trends, if we start to see, if you're a company who sells software into creative industries, creative companies, I don't know, design companies and things like that, and you find actually a lot of our traffic, they tend to actually be using Macs, and they tend to be coming in via the iOS platform. And about 90% of your sales come from people using that platform. Fantastic. You've got some insight, and you could potentially kind of tailor your targeting, okay, with your Google ads, your social media marketing, towards people who are on those devices. Rather than spending your budget on all of these people, you could actually spend all of your money on these people who can actually buy and tend to actually use your software. So what can reporting actually tell you? It's going to be able to tell you where people actually heard about your site. It's going to be able to tell you which pages they visit the most. The reason that that's important is if there's certain pages that seem to just convert all the time, people stick on and seem to kind of spend a lot of time there and read a lot. What's so great about those pages? Let's review that. Let's implement some of those best practices that we found across other pages that don't perform as well for us. What devices are they using? Really interesting one, guys, is the reason that it's really interesting to kind of talk about and look at. I use the word interesting a lot because I'm an analytics nerd. But when we talk about what devices are they using, pop this in the chat, okay? And I just want you to say yes or no, okay? When the time comes when we can book holidays again, okay? If you were going to book, say, a £2,000 holiday, okay, would you book a holiday on this? Would you book the holiday on here? Okay, or would you go on here, okay, to maybe get some inspiration off social media and just check deals, you know, just to kind of get the creative juices flowing? Yeah, let me know in the chat. Because what sometimes happens is, depending on the type of purchase, people will often get inspiration here. They'll speak to, like I would, speak to the boss at home, speak to my wife at home, you know, talk through some ideas that we've been thinking about. And then when we actually come to book, she might have been looking on her phone for other ideas. And then when we actually come to book, we come on with PC or laptop because we feel as though we need the full picture. Does that sound familiar? Whereas if it was, you know, let's have a think. Say it was a ticket for either a free event like this, or maybe it's like a £5 ticket for an event, you'd feel very comfortable booking it on here. So the whole user journey could potentially be on here. We need to understand that because there's going to be multiple touch points, potentially across multiple devices, that we need to understand the full picture of that user journey. Analytics is going to help us with that. Let me know if you found that interesting, if that is normally kind of how you would work. Also, it's going to let you know where visitors actually are in the world. Yeah, sometimes that's really useful to make sure that you're targeting the right people. Sometimes it's very useful to potentially identify new opportunities, or it can actually be to make sure that going forward, we start to refine our marketing a little bit more because we seem to be targeting the wrong people. So it works both ways. So I've got, let's see, Rona O'Connor, yeah, agrees. Check on my phone and then I would buy on a laptop. Yeah. Emmanuel, Siobhan, I think they're all kind of in a great, oh, okay. So Life Tech Health and Living, not for you. Okay. IELA, Island Research, would you use mobile and then book on laptop? Interesting. Okay. Talathi Sullivan, no, that's not how you would run. Claire Whitty is saying tend to use a laptop. Interesting. What's interesting about this is there's probably different age ranges. What's happening is depending on the size of the purchase, and as time's kind of going on, it used to just be the younger demographic that were more interested in and that would actually convert on a mobile. But now as people of all age ranges are getting more comfortable across tech, we are seeing that start to kind of move and people feel a lot more comfortable booking on here, but it depends on the industry. It really depends on the industry. So if you want to kind of understand the traffic sources, write this one down, guys. You look at acquisition, all traffic and channels. And as I touched on before, that's going to show you where people actually came from. If you want to see, identify your most popular pages, you're going to look at that landing page report that we touched on before. Behavior, site content, and landing pages. And it's going to give the URLs of the best performing the medium, and the worst performing as well. The device report. So to be able to see the devices and kind of see the split between desktop, mobile, and tablet, we can see, the split there. We can actually start to take that information and tailor marketing accordingly. Locations. This is an interesting one to see where you're getting the majority of your traffic from. If you go to audience, geolocation, and then overview and location, it will actually give you the country split. But again, you can click on the country and break it down into cities as well if you wanted to. Social media. If you wanted to actually see which social media platforms are working for you, okay, you just go into acquisition, the social tab, and then overview, and it's going to actually list out all of the networks that are bringing traffic to you. The reason that this is useful is, especially if you're a small business or an SME, is sometimes it's difficult and you have to wear multiple hats within the business. And I did this and I practice what I preach, is as a marketing manager, okay, or as a business owner, it can be hard to be everywhere at once. What you really need to know is which social media channels are actually generating opportunity for us. If there's certain ones, for me, Instagram wasn't doing anything for my companies at all. So we took it away and we focused, for me, on LinkedIn and Facebook, predominantly on LinkedIn, just for us. All right, guys, what we've got is a quick video here as an example as to how you can understand the importance of consumer experience and behavior. I'll let you watch the video quickly, guys, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit afterwards.
Hey, just that, thanks.
You sure?
Yeah.
Username?
Oh, Nick M.
No.
NM 1983.
No.
Zandy Pops. Sorry. Zandy Pops.
No. Okay. Don't worry. I'll help. What's your postcode?
Oh, it's GU749ZT.
Welcome back, Nick Forever.
Hi.
Please listen carefully to this bread license agreement before continuing with your purchase of a loaf of bread. If you do not, blah blah blah. You also agree not to use any bread-based product for any purposes prohibited by United Kingdom law, including without limitation, design, development, manufacture of missiles, chemical, nuclear, or biological weapons.
Tick.
I'm afraid you've timed out.
What? Sorry. Hello? Excuse. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Just one loaf, sir.
Yeah, we just.
What's your username?
It's Nick Forever, but number 4, not the.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to check that you're a real person. Could you say that for me?
That's not even a word.
Okay. How about this one?
You know what? Forget it.
Or this one?
Hey, Potter, nice.
You're in.
Great. I'm in.
£8.85.
It's supposed to be 98 pence.
Plus express delivery.
What's that?
Oh well, it's express delivery. It's fast. So there's standard. Standard delivery. That's £4.99.
Why?
Bread insurance. You didn't untick the don't decline bread insurance option.
You know what? I think I'll risk it.
It is quite close to the sell-by date.
Don't care.
98 pence it is. If you want to pop back in 5 business days, it'll be ready for your collection.
Well, I need it now, obviously.
Oh, okay. You want the take-home today price? Well, that's £3.27.
You know what? I'm going to go.
Come back soon.
I won't.
Dear customer, this call will be closing in 10 minutes. Please proceed to checkout. Please proceed to checkout. Thank you.
Really useful video. Really useful video. Is what that's kind of demonstrating is some of those touch points that can be very frustrating to a user, where you can potentially frustrate them, irritate them, and lose them, knock them out of the sales funnel and things like that. If we can identify those pain points using analytics, okay, and seeing the landing pages, the bounce rates and things like that, we can start to actively take measures to improve our online performance. Love that video. Okay, so how can data address some key business questions? All right, so as I said before, we've got a real life business example ready. We've got that analytics set up for us. Okay, so I'll bring that in as we kind of go. What I would ask from you guys is pop it in the chat if you feel like you know the answer to the question or you feel like you know where we might go. Don't be frightened, pop it in the chat and let me know. So meet our business owner. This is Adrian. Okay, Adrian runs a website selling clothes and lifestyle goods. He uses Google Analytics to help him answer some common questions. First question is how many of my visitors are on their mobiles? Where would he find that information out? Yeah. If he was to look, okay, and find certain information, should he actually optimize his site for mobile and tablets? Let's take a look together, guys. Okay, let me know if you think you know where you might look within Google Analytics. All right, let's take a quick scan here, guys. So he wants to kind of know, let me just check, how many of his visitors are on their mobile phones. So we would look at, audience, okay, and we would look at mobile and overview. Now here we go, is we can see over a 30-day period, okay, that there's been 44,000, or let's just look at the percentages, 72% desktop, 25% mobile, and 2% tablet. If this was your business, okay, and you found actually 25% of our business opportunity has come from someone on a mobile at one of the touch points, what would you think? I would personally be thinking, okay, we definitely need to make sure that our website is mobile friendly and that it's optimized for mobile. Let's take a look at the next question. Where are people accessing my site from, and should we start selling abroad? So with this one, we are going to look at audience and geo, and we're going to look at locations. Now, if we can start to see, okay, that we're actually getting a lot of traction from the US, from India, and things like that, and we predominantly have just been selling before in the UK, this is going to unearth some definite opportunity for us because we're getting a hell of a lot of traffic from other countries. If we can deliver our items and services there and accept their payment methods, then fantastic. We either look to do so, okay, or if it's something that we can do, we could potentially start marketing to them. Last question, which pages load too slow and need improving? So with that question, guys, we want to look at behavior, we want to look at site content, and we want to look at landing pages. Now, what we want to look at here is which ones are performing well, which ones are driving a lot of traffic with a low bounce rate, and which ones are actually driving goal completions and conversions for us. Yeah, all the kind of questions that we might want to know. Site speed is we might want to look at certain page timings in site speed, page timings, and we can actually start to understand which pages perform very well in terms of speed and load time, and which ones we could definitely do with either improving ourselves or getting our web developer to look at. Okay, let's just make this a full screen again there, guys. You see, so really basic kind of business questions that Adrian might want to look at. Okay, they're only a few clicks away getting our head around it in analytics to be able to kind of find the answers out. All right, last couple of questions then, guys, as we head into the last kind of 5 minutes or so. Let me just take a quick look, see where we're at with these questions. Will be a second there. So Clemens had asked, I want to know what pages they look at and where they bounce in the funnel. Okay, so we looked at that before. We looked at the landing pages and things like that. The other thing that you can look at actually, Clemens, is let me show you this. This is a little bit more techy. Okay, but what I'd like you to do is if you look at behavior, 2 seconds there, is if we look at behavior and behavioral flow. This will be a good one for you, Clemens, to be able to understand, you know, where people are actually coming in, okay, and where you're actually potentially losing them. The other part as well is, just bear with me a second. Here we go, events flow. Yeah, you could look in events flow as well, but what I would probably kind of stick with, in all honesty, is I would look at behavioural flow, Clemens. I think that would be more than enough for you. All right. Next one is Akara is asking Akara concept. Which pages are most popular and how did they get there? So we touched on that before. Mark Herbert, Mark from the Little Wax Company. How frequently customers are returning to us? Okay, so what you'd be able to see there is if you just go onto home. All right, you could just go on to basically any of these tabs, really. So what you'd be looking at is you'd be looking at users and new users. So if we go to, here we go. Here we go. So that's the difference between that. So this is for Mark. Users, that's the overall number of individuals who visited your site over time, but new users. So there's a disparity there of what's that, about maybe 5,000 to 6,000. That means that 5,000 or 6,000 people have come back. The rest are new people new to your website. How do you set goals up? Okay, so to set the goals, you go into conversions, goals, and overview. This is where you would be able to view them. Okay, you'll be able to check and view them here. To actually set them up, you would need to go to admin cog, goals, okay, and you press on new goal, and you would have to work through the steps depending on the goal for your business, Denise, all right? If you need more information, go to the Google Digital Garage site, and there's a specific section just tailored to setting that up. All right. If you've got further questions and you're not too sure, maybe reach out to someone local, or maybe look on YouTube and just type in, how do I set up a Google Analytics goal for a telephone call, for an email sign up and things like that. And you'll be able to find useful tips there. Mindy, last question here. Can I track from my previous website? I have the same URL. It's just updated site. If it's the same analytics, if you've had it set up from your previous site, and you've just implemented and set live a new site, the old traffic will still be there because you're monitoring the same URL. However, if you set up analytics today, okay, and you haven't had it set up on your old site, then no, you wouldn't be able to get that, all right? But if it's been there before, you've already had it set up, when you launch a new site, okay, the old data will still remain on analytics, all right? Great questions, guys, really good questions. Okay. So let's just jump back, guys, as we head into the last couple of minutes. So, guys, what are your next steps? All right, so this has been we've obviously covered a hell of a lot of information. Let's talk about what you should actually do next to get the most out of everything. So first of all, one of the next steps that you should definitely be checking out is the new Google for Small Business website. Really interesting new tool to kind of help small businesses be more successful on how to show up more on Google, create and improve your website, reach more customers, and really kind of build loyalty. And we've even got a section about working effectively from anywhere, so kind of remotely and things like that. Check that out, guys. Annie, if you could be so kind to pop that in the chat, and the link for the viewers, that would be fantastic. So guys, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, okay, if you're interested in more training from the Google Digital Garage, there's a few ways that you can continue your learning. We are running many more Google Digital Garage webinars in a variety of subjects. We run them every week. If you'd like to check out the full schedule of webinars, please see the information in the description, and you'll also pop the link for the Google Digital Garage Ireland site as well. If you'd like to share your experience on social media to tell your friends, your family, your business colleagues, business connections about these webinars, please, please, please use the hashtag Digital Garage. The reason being is, you know, if you found it useful during these difficult times to kind of really help your business kind of bounce back, hopefully friends, family members who are also in similar positions, they might find it useful as well. It also means that me and Annie and the team can kind of see and measure the response, the feedback, and the positive impact that we're having by delivering these awesome sessions that I love doing. If you would carry on like to learn in your own time, guys, check out the Google Digital Garage website for more online training courses, which are available to you at 24/7. Guys, if you've got any feedback actually about today's session, please complete the feedback form, which is linked in the description box below. As I mentioned at the beginning, guys, once you actually complete the feedback form, a link's going to appear for you to re-download today's content, and you can actually rewatch today's session and see my mug again, okay, until your heart's content on the Leo Fingal YouTube channel. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure kind of speaking with you today and taking you through one of my kind of real passions around analytics. I really do kind of hope that you guys feel as though I've demystified analytics for you. Okay, hopefully I've kind of created a few analytics nerds, but what I really wanted to make sure is after this session, I hope that the vast majority of you are going to feel empowered and feel a little bit more comfortable going on analytics, delving into what's kind of happening with your business and driving your business forward via useful insights. Guys, my name is Michael Knowles. From all of us here at the Google Digital Garage, stay safe, take care, and have a wonderful day. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.